I downloaded every Mario VR game I could find, and I'm gonna rank them based on enjoyability, faithfulness to the source material, and my overall thoughts. We're trying to hit 2k subs, so subscribe. Onto the video. Starting off with Super Mario VR by Dr. Drastic. I did 2 playthroughs, one on Quest and one on PC. Off the bat, I think regardless of how janky and unpolished the game is, I'm still impressed because it was made by a single person and it is pretty long. The game is a mashup of elements from all the different types of Mario games. You have the hub and the stars from Mario 64, the level design from Super Mario 3D World, and the music from New Super Wii. Each of the levels featured are linear in nature with branching paths to collect the star. As a whole, I really like the collectible system. The coins are there to buy skins in the shop, the stars are used to unlock more levels, and are scattered around, sometimes in really hidden spots. Although there's a critical flaw here. It's extremely frustrating that upon death, you lose all your stars and have to recollect them. And in order to progress, you pretty much have to collect all of them. If that wasn't bad enough, when you reach a checkpoint and you die, you still lose all the stars before the checkpoint, meaning that you have to backtrack in order to get them all back. And if that sounded slightly reasonable, as you can just leave the level and come back, you start the level back at the checkpoint. So either you don't grab checkpoints, or you just don't die if you want to progress. If you look past that issue, the game can be really fun. You can punch bricks with your hand, jump on the enemies, and can even throw Koopa shells really intuitively. The mushroom and the fire flower are here. The mushroom heals you, and the fire flower lets you throw fireballs that instantly kill enemies. I really like the Ghoul House level, as the Boo enemies work really well in VR. If you didn't know, when you look away from them, they move towards you, and when you look back at them, they freeze. It was actually pretty nerve-wracking when I saw them get slightly closer every time I looked at them. The movement system isn't the best compared to other VR games. The jumping is really floaty, the character doesn't feel like it has any weight as you just stop and start on a dime. Preferably, the jump would be faster to accelerate up and down, to avoid the weightless feeling, and to make the movement more weighty, there should have been a gradual acceleration up to full speed, and a slight slipperiness when stopping. Also, the character models are really low effort and your legs are always in the ground. Furthermore, the visuals as a whole are really poor. The ground textures are inconsistently sized, the enemy models are just ripped off an official game, all the levels feel really flat to play, there aren't many vertical platforming sections. The game definitely has potential. I wish that it was more faithful to Mario 64, as a lot of that game's systems are here. If only Bob-omb Battlefield was here. Despite all the flaws, I seriously had a lot of fun with the early levels. The first level was actually really fun. It's a level straight out of 3D Land. The problem with all the other levels in the game is that all the bricks, blocks, and enemies feel tacked on. Like in the cave level, you walk through this giant enclosed space, and there are just bricks really high up on the walls. The first level has the bricks in their expected spots, where you will actually be walking and it won't feel like a chore to hit them. Jumping on the enemies and finding all the secrets took me back to when I first played Mario 64. Being in Mario's shoes is truly an amazing time, but that is only when the game isn't stupidly difficult for no reason. The game has a major difficulty spike at the lava level. If you want to get stars and progress the game, you have to go through this giant level all in one go, while collecting every out-of-the-way star. It's just so frustrating and I could not bother with the headache, as I tried for half an hour on the same level. It's understandable why the game isn't perfect. Again, it was made by a solo developer called Dr. Drastic. He makes videos about the VR games he develops, and really only has to make them look good for his own video, and he lets the viewers play them if they want to. For what it is, there's a fair amount of content here. It could easily take you a couple hours to get through the game, which is not bad for a free indie game. Making AAA games isn't the goal here, as he doesn't release his games on the Quest store or any other storefronts. I was watching his video on the game and got recommended his vlog channel. This guy is literally homeless and lives in his van, and here I am complaining that the game isn't the best, and this guy seemingly developed it in his car. Go watch some of Dr. Drastic's videos. I linked his channel in the description. Super Mario VR gets a 2.5 out of 5 stars. This next game is just called Mario VR, and this one is a bit rough. It's a recreation of the first level of the original Super Mario Bros. It's really weird seeing the level from this perspective, and it looks a lot smaller than I thought it would. In terms of gameplay, this is extremely shallow as it's just one short level. The movement speed is far too slow, which leads to deaths like this where you just can't jump far enough over a gap. The enemies here are brain dead and can't hurt you as far as I can tell. You can't go down the pipes, but at least the star is here, but it doesn't do anything. You can see the scoreboard in the sky, which I think is a good touch. It counts your coins and even has a timer on it. At the end of the level is the iconic flagpole, which I had more fun climbing it than playing the actual game. The pipe to get to level 2 is here, but there isn't any actual second level, unfortunately. Also, the hand models in this game are technically accurate, but they are so generic, and the player doesn't even have a model. I also noticed the lack of floating coins and Koopa Troopers. It doesn't really have an impact on the gameplay, but it makes it slightly less interesting. The game is a tech demo and is not trying to be something it isn't. Mario VR gets a 1 out of 5 stars. Next up is Mega Mario Galaxy. It's a partial recreation of Super Mario Galaxy. You can run around the observatory collecting stars. The movement is pretty floaty, and there are a few different movement options here. You can double and triple jump by jumping multiple times in a row. There's this spin attack that lets you get a little bit of extra height in your jumps. You can also shoot these colorful stars like in the original game. I didn't find a use for it in the game, but it's interesting that they included it. Scattered around the observatory are a bunch of stars that you can collect. There are these bounce pads that help you get around, and you can just explore this familiar place. There's also a full level here. By going into this door, you can start the level. It has the same gravitational physics, which really surprised me when I first saw it. There's about 20 minutes of gameplay here, but the time I spent was enjoyable. If the game was longer, I could definitely see myself putting a couple of hours into the game. There's a second level here. There isn't anything to do here except go back to the hub map. Due to how much of a tech demo this game feels like, and how short it is, Mega Mario Galaxy gets 2 out of 5 stars. Mario 64 is a platforming masterpiece. There just happens to be a way to play it in its entirety in first person. Keizo Manuel created a modified version of the game that works on Dolphin VR, which hasn't been updated in many years, so I didn't expect it to work. You drag the file into the window and it just works, which really surprised me. The whole game works with the correct physics. There aren't any motion controls here, but the game really doesn't need them. You can use either a gamepad or your keyboard. Both have their own advantages. The keyboard is easier, but the gamepad allows more control. There's this dark box that shows the way Mario is facing, and has all the game's HUD on it. Being able to freely look around the castle felt really weird to me. Being in this familiar place that I had explored so many times in a new perspective was really cool. Everything looks so much larger in first person, and it was really jarring how fast Mario ran around. I have experience speedrunning the game, and I was really surprised how quickly the skills and moves transferred over to first person. The wall jumps felt really weird though. Wall jumps are used in a lot of speedrunning tricks, like this jump up to the floating island in Whomp's Fortress. Usually to make the gap after performing the wall jump, you have to hold the stick in the opposite direction of the wall to maximize the distance you gain. In VR, when you successfully perform a wall jump, your camera instantly switches around 180 degrees, which really threw me off. When you wall jump here to gain maximum distance, you consistently hold forward, which really messed up my muscle memory. When I was first getting into Mario 64, I had a lot of trouble with the game's depth perception. A lot of the jumps felt really hard, like jumping onto this platform. In first person, suddenly this jump feels so much easier. All of the depth perception challenges that I still find annoying, even now with hundreds of hours in the game, seem to instantly disappear. All of the gaps and distances just became so much more intuitive, and you really have to try it to understand how it feels. After getting used to the game and running around, I decided to enter the aquarium. I was in awe of how amazing it looked. The music and the visuals matched with me floating around was really magical. This is when I really noticed how fast Mario swam. I was zooming when I got the coins. Jolly Roger's Bay was also magical. The giant hole in the middle of the stage looked massive in first person. The first Bowser was really strange. Being able to see the whole stage was really weird, and it felt more menacing from the bottom, but smaller at the same time. The Bowser fight was also strange. There isn't even a cutscene. He just stands there until you pick him up. When I spun Bowser around, I didn't know what I was expecting, but it was really disorienting and basically turned into a blind throw. I had a lot of fun experiencing the game in a new perspective. If you have the means, definitely try it yourself, especially if you have experience with Mario 64. Mario 64 VR gets a 5 out of 5 stars, definitely try it. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2K and it all helps. Thanks for watching this far in. Goodbye.